So again, to recap, I believe that the Chicago Sky is a winner of the free agency period because of their ability to get incrementally better, minus Kennedy Carter leaving, because the Sky didn't want her, and saving your picks for 2025 and getting a first round pick for 2026. Now, here's the thing. The Chicago Sky have the first round pick swap with the Connecticut Sun in 2026, which means, guys, that's probably going to be a lottery pick. The Connecticut Sun is not going to make the playoffs in 2026. I mean, at this point, I feel like you can kind of book it. We'll see ultimately, but like I feel like you can kind of book it. You can kind of book it that they will not end up making the playoffs, and they will be a lottery pick, which means woo woo woo. That is a great thing for the Chicago Sky. That is a great thing for the Chicago Sky, which means that if Connecticut ends up in the lottery, let's say they get the number 1 pick, number 2 pick in the 2026 draft, that's going to the Chicago Sky. Now again, the Sky were smart and they did not trade that away. They didn't trade that away. We have that pick. So possibilities of us making something happen with another lottery pick in 2026. Again, the reason why the Chicago Sky won is because we didn't trade away some of our biggest assets. That's something that James Wade did when we got Renee Mabry originally. He traded the farm for one player to help us be that much incrementally better. And we didn't have to do that. We got incrementally better without having to give away a draft pick. I think that's a dub. We did not get rid of any of our draft picks. We didn't. And so that is my explanation. That is my explanation. Now, if y'all have listened to this whole thing, let me know in the chat. Am I still trolling? Like, am I still trolling or what? Because initially, y'all was saying I was trolling in the chat. I kind of walked through as best as I can at this point my logic behind the statement that the Chicago Sky is a winner. Now, is the Chicago Sky the winner of free agency? No, they're not. But they are a winner of free agency. They are. They are a winner. Now, guys, let me know. Grade my argument in the chat. Grade and do a serious grade. Don't just be trolling. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. Brian, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I like your take on the offseason moves for the Chicago Sky. I don't know what moves the Sky fans wanted the Sky to make without giving up the number 3 pick. Yeah, that's the thing. The Chicago Sky, if the Chicago Sky actually swung for the fences, they would have to get rid of the number 3, the number 10, or both to make some stuff happen. All right? So the Chicago Sky, when it came to the big trades for like core players and whatnot, the Chicago Sky was never in the running for that because we'd have to give up too much. We'd have to give up far too much. Daryl, thank you so much for the super sticker. It is a peach. Appreciate you for your support. Looks like we got a new channel member. I want to make sure I acknowledge you real quick. Thank you so much, Daryl, for becoming a awesome person of the internet, member of the channel. Really do appreciate your support. Okay. Some of y'all see the vision. Chuck says, I agree. Makes sense. RW says, yes, I agree. Don't trade picks in our position. Yeah. Eddie says the losers, it's easy. Sun and Dallas. I have separate videos about them, so I'm not going to comment too much on them, but I have a separate video about them. Tasha says, Quita, how do we get Lexi to come back if she is able to play? Lexi. You're not talking about Lexi Hull because she never played for the Sky. Are you talking about Lexi Brown? If you are talking about Lexi Brown, well, Lexi is actually under contract with the LA Sparks. So Lexi Brown cannot return to the Chicago Sky unless it's a trade. She is on a guaranteed contract with the LA Sparks for 2025 and 2026. She's one of those rare players who are like locked in for 2026 as well. A lot of players, a good amount of especially the veterans are only on deals for one more year in 2025, and then they'll be free agents for 2026. Lexi Brown is one of those rare players that is under contract for 2025 and 2026. So if you're talking about Lexi Brown, no, she will not return to the Chicago Sky anytime soon unless the Chicago Sky trade for her, which that doesn't make any sense. So no. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. Bob says, who did the Sky sign or trade for? The Fever had a pretty good offseason in terms of sign and trades. Yeah, they did. And I'll have a separate video about the Indiana Fever, but this video is specifically about the Chicago Sky, so that's what we're covering. So the Chicago Sky ended up signing They ended up signing Courtney Vandersloot, Beck Allen, and Kia Nurse. Or they got Beck Allen via a trade. So the trade was with the Connecticut Sun. The Chicago Sky got Beck Allen, and we gave the Connecticut Sun Nicolina Milic, the rights to her, and Lindsay Allen. All right. The Chicago Sky lose Diamond of Shields, Kennedy Carter, though I didn't put Kennedy Carter on this list because the Chicago Sky made a decision. They had the opportunity to re-sign her, but they decided not to and decided to go in a new direction. We'll ultimately see if Kennedy Carter ends up in the league for 2025. We'll see. She mentioned before that she had some meetings that she was doing and whatnot. So my fingers are crossed that we will see Kennedy Carter back in the league because I think she's just such a special player. But the Chicago Sky, again, made a concerted effort to not bring her back. And so I am not weighing Kennedy Carter in my analysis of the Chicago Sky in their offseason because she was never on the table, according to the Chicago Sky. She was never on the table to bring back. We also re-signed Michaela Onyenwere, which, again, big dub for us because she did show a lot of promise in 2024, and I'm excited to see what she does in 2025. Now, there are still some moves that the Chicago Sky still have to make. There's still some question marks that we have on the list. And for example, one of the question marks is what happens with the rest of the players on the Chicago Sky. So right now, here are the players who are currently on the roster for the Chicago Sky. So the Chicago Sky have Courtney Vandersloot, Mariah Jefferson, who the reason why Mariah Jefferson has not been waived or anything like that is because she is on a guaranteed contract. So you're not waiving a player on a guaranteed contract. You are keeping that player, and they were not able to work out a trade for Mariah Jefferson, so she is still on the roster for 2025. You also have Michaela Onyenwere, who re-signed with the team. Elizabeth Williams re-upped last season during the regular season. She re-upped and is going to return in 2025. That is someone who did get injured in 2024, but will be healthy and ready to go in 2025. She's been in Chicago working out with Jeff and Tyler, and so she's getting ready to go. And definitely will continue to have her sort of leadership role, especially when it comes to the post players, right? Angel's still very young. Camilla's still very young, trying to help mentor them and try to get them ready for that next level that they're going to take in their game. All right, we also have Rachel Banham on a guaranteed contract for 2025. I like Rachel. Big Mama, Big Lotto, whatever you want to call her. She is a fun player. She's a great culture fit. She is someone who not only is a great culture fit, but someone who can score in bunches. You talk about streaky player. That is Rachel Banham. That is Rachel. When she gets hot from the 3-point line. And again, Tyler Marsh, a huge focus for him is 3-point shooters. He's trying to make everybody, even Elizabeth Williams, he's trying to make everybody a 3-point shooter. And Rachel Banham, who's already a really good 3-point shooter, he's trying to get her to be consistent. So if we can see a more consistent 3-point shooter out of Rachel Banham, it's going to be special next year. I'm just saying. And Rachel is also in Chicago working out, getting better, and all that good stuff. We also, of course, return Camila Cardoso, who is killing in China right now. I enjoy watching clips of her play. I think she's going to take that extra leap next year when she actually has a point guard who knows how to give her the basketball and watch her work. I'm excited for that. Also, Angel is on the team next year. She's, of course, they're both rookie. They both were rookies this past year, and so they're on the team for at least the next 2 years, and then they'll be to pick up that 4th year option. Angel, I thought, had a pretty good year as a rookie, right? Rebounding queen, does her thing. She was someone who was able to figure out ways to score. Now, again, her efficiency is something that Tyler Marsh is gonna work on, right? She's been working on trying to extend her game. We saw her get some mid-range buckets in Unrivaled, right? We saw her trying to attempt some threes. Now that's not always gonna work, but I like the fact that she's trying it. I like the fact that she's exploring something new, and I'm interested to ultimately see what she does in 2025 for the WNBA. We also have on our roster, as I already stated before, Kia Nurse and Beck Allen as well. There are some question marks still on the roster. We have extended an offer to Dana Evans. As of this moment, she has not signed that offer. Will she? Question mark. We'll ultimately see what happens with Dana Evans. Brianna Turner is an unrestricted free agent. She's not returning back to the team. At least as a Sky fan, I hope she does not, because I don't think she gives much of anything, to be honest with you, for the Chicago Sky. She was not a factor at all in 2024. I don't think she'd be a factor at all in 2025. Jeff Pagliacca, he's not bringing her back, because if he was, he would have probably extended the offer at this moment. So Brianna Turner not returning. Isabel Harrison likely not returning. It didn't seem like she had that great of a year last year, especially considering her and Dana's sort of postseason presser, the exit interviews and whatnot. So I don't think Izzy returns at all. Diamond Shields is already gone. Kennedy Carter is already gone. And so that is the roster. That's the roster that we have right now for the Chicago Sky. Whew, that was a whole bunch. Whole bunch. Gamble 310, thanks so much for the super chat. Says 2026 pick now looks really good. Yeah, it does. Because the Connecticut Sun are about to be trash. Or at least that's what I anticipate. But who knows? Surprises can happen. Pete, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Quita, you're talking about Dominique Malonga, would work. She is a great shooter. Plus, she runs the floor. Put Angel at 3 and draft Sellers at 10. Angel to play the small forward? That wouldn't work. No. That would be a disaster. I see the thing about drafting Dominique at the number 3 spot is that if you do that, you're limiting Camilla's time on the court. And I think Camilla really is poised to sort of have a breakout year in 2025, right? In the WNBA. Because, Malagone is a very tall player, right? She's gonna likely be she's gonna be in that post, right? And so I don't know. I'm not a crazy I like her. I think she's a very talented player. Yes, she can shoot as well. I just wonder how that interacts with our post players currently. Whereas I feel like if we draft a point guard, a shooting guard, or a small forward, that is someone who can slide in right away, possibly end up beating out a starter and making that work, right? So we got Camilla, we got Elizabeth Williams, we got Angel. Yes, sure, we can get another power forward, but I wouldn't say draft number 3 for that, right? That's my thoughts there. Mike, she does though. She does. Technically, she's listed as a post player. Now, yes, she can stretch the floor. Absolutely, she can stretch the floor. But in the WNBA, she's either a center or a power forward in the WNBA. Yes, she can stretch the floor, but in the W, she's going to be either a center or a power forward, most likely a center. So because of that, I do think it kind of conflicts with what the Sky are already building with Camilla and Ewil.